Here with LaBuenaLife.com, and today I'm meeting Peter Crone and Krishna, my new friend Krishna. But we're here at Peter's home because I met Peter recently and I was fascinated with what he does, but I wanted to tell you all, or have him tell you what it is he does. He's not exactly a life coach, although he inspires many to live the life of their dreams. So, thank you for being here, or allowing me to be here.
Nice to have you here. Okay. Nice to have you
Share
here.
your voice.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you. So, tell us a little bit about what you do.
In lay terms, what I say is that I help people free their minds. So, as you said, it's not quite life coaching, it's helping people to realize their potential, and whatever that might be. You know, whether they be actors or athletes or business people or just single mothers, or it doesn't really matter. Everyone has this sort of untapped potential. So I just help people to get out of their own way so that they can.
And I like that expression. He said that when we had lunch. People help them get out of their own way, and that's so true. I think that we put all these stumbling blocks in front of ourselves and make things harder than they actually are.
It's actually, you know, from all my years of doing this and of study, it's actually really the design of the mind. It's almost like that's the game of being human, is that we have all of these beliefs of inadequacy, and then the game is how quickly can we overcome them or get rid of them.
We're self-saboteurs at heart. Right?
Yeah, that's just part of being human.
That's so awful. What a waste of energy.
Well, just think, if we didn't have anything to work on, it would kind of almost be boring.
That's true.
Time.
Okay. So can you give me kind of an example of something you might do? Why you might work with somebody?
Yeah, I mean, like working with an athlete recently, like so a professional baseball player, a guy who was struggling to have hits, and so just talking through the process of why, when he goes up to bat, he has this concern for the fact that he might strike out. So that's something that not necessarily the general public can relate to, because they're not like professional athletes, but they can understand in terms of their own life where they may have concerns of an outcome. It gives them tension in the moment. It gives them a sense of fear for an outcome, which then actually becomes self-fulfilling.
Right.
So
they're focusing on what their fear, the worst thing that could happen, they focus on, and so that's where they're putting their energy.
Yeah, their attention is on the outcome that they don't want, which is creating the tension in the present moment, which then, especially if you're an athlete, if you have a sense of tension, then obviously you're not going to be able to perform at the level that you're probably paid to perform, which then becomes self-fulfilling. So in this case, it's just understanding how the mind creates an illusory future that then we try to avoid, but not realizing that that's completely futile, because your mind is creating an image that hasn't even happened yet, and then you're doing everything you can to try and avoid it, which is completely nuts.
Nothing happens.
No, and everybody does it. I don't care what you do, that's how the mind is designed.
Right. Yeah. So I imagine that since you have corporate people and athletes and all different types of people you work with, is the approach different for each?
The approach is different only in terms of what we're talking about. So if I'm talking with an athlete, obviously we're talking in terms of their sport. If I'm talking with an actor, it could be to do with a character. If I'm talking with a businessman, it's to do with productivity within the business, or how he communicates with his executives, or whatever it might be. So the process is different in terms of the subject matter, but the actual underlying, what we're actually doing, is very similar.
The skills that could be applied to anything.
Because everybody can relate to the fact that we have concern. Most people have concern. They're worried about their body image. They're worried about.
I don't know about Krishna.
Krishna's pretty much got it sorted.
Concerned about anything.
Well, he gets concerned about chicken and going for
what's in my bag over there,
and hiking and stuff like that. But yeah, animals are a beautiful example of how being present is really that sense of freedom, because the mind is always based in time, either past or future, and that's where we get preoccupied with dis-ease. Like, so when we feel at dis-ease with ourselves, then that's the first step to having the sickness or illness show up down the line. So really, I'm helping people. It may sound cliche, but I'm helping people just to simply be where they are and be okay with it.
Which ultimately may prevent them from getting sick, because if they're in a better space.
It absolutely does. I mean, I've had people that I work with who are sick, whose sickness actually dissolves because now they've let go of all of the concern that created it in the first place. So that's a very powerful, because modern society is all about trying to fix something from the outside in, and really I'm coming from the inside out. So if you have a symptom of disease, or you have a a low bank account, or if you have a body that's overweight, or a relationship that's not working, anything that's out there is always a reflection of what's missing inside of you, or what you believe is missing. So if you feel like a sense of worthlessness, then it's impossible for you to have a bank account that's like just full, because it doesn't match. Right? It doesn't match your sense of reality. Exactly. So until such time that we shift our perception of who we think we are, then our reality will never shift. And yet that's how everyone lives, right? Everyone's trying to change their circumstances so that then they can hopefully feel better, but it's futile, which is what
we're working backwards.
Yeah. And that's why medication and alcohol and cigarettes are so prevalent.
So how can people work one-on-one with you, I assume?
Yeah, or
For the
groups,
most part?
keynotes, workshops, all sorts, retreats.
Do you have any kind of media that someone could buy? Like
Not right now.
Is that something we could
But
look
you can go to my website and put your
please.
email.
Why don't you tell us what your website address is?
If you go to petercrone.com or bealive.com, same place, and you can actually put in your email, and then hopefully sooner before later you will be able to get a book, a DVD, an online course. Who knows? Many things that I'm working on.
Things in the works.
Exactly. So if you're interested in loving life, I know not everyone is, but then if that's something that inspires you to have a phenomenal body, an amazingly passionate relationship, stacks of cash, if that kind of interests you, just, if there's a few of you out there, then stick your email on my website, bealive.com, and it'll be on the way to you.
Okay, you got that? So it's bealive.com or Peter Crone, PeterCrone.com. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
My pleasure.
And Krishna.
Yes, Krishna. He's out. He's looking for food.
And I'm really excited. I'll put my name on your list because I want to know what you're up to.
Okay, good.
Thank you for your good work.
My pleasure.